Welcome back, everyone, to the second episode, finally, of Rift Queens. I'm, of course, Mila, and I'm joined again by my beautiful co host, Noah. And as always, we also have a little treat for you guys. We have a guest with us again, and today we are joined by Shiina, who's, of course, known as the jungler of G2 Hel, and we have a whole lot to talk about, right?
We have a lot to talk about. First of all, how are you doing, Sheena? Thank you very much for joining us for the interview for Rift Queens 2. How are you?
Good, thanks. What about you?
We have a lot to talk about because yes, today we're recording this on October 14, which means that Game Changers playoffs already started. Please, other applause. Yes, we already started playoffs. Playoffs started with a banger of a series. Melee is absolutely destroyed after casting 5 full games, reverse sweep included, between Zeran's Bloom. Did I say it correctly? Melee.
Well, I mean, look, my pronunciation, the funny thing is, I was convinced my pronunciation is almost 100% right until our producer, one of our producers who's helping us out, Pablo, who's actually French, came in and was like, you got to pronounce the E a tiny bit different. And then I got in my head. So from, I think, game 3 onwards, I was very confused about how to pronounce them actually. So I think it's Zérance, okay?
Oh
Zérance.
my freaking goodness.
Yeah.
It's going to be Sarah's bloom for me because I'm it and I mess up with the pronunciation. So I am really sorry, Pablo. I am really sorry for what I'm about to do. But we had a banger of a series between Demon Solari and Solari Academy. Reverse Sweep included first of all, Fox about it. Fox on the series. Millie, you were casting the 5 games. For the first game ever from Game Changers in Europe, streamed on the LGC channel. What are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, it was really, really hype. And I was really happy with first of all, I was really happy we made it to that point. I was really happy to be there and that we all had the opportunity to, show off the talent on that channel. I think it's an honor, of course, to take over the LEC channel, but it's also such a big help to have a community that already exists, even if it's hard to handle at some points, because we all know not everyone is super excited about female League of Legends gaming. But no, it was very, very nice. And the games were absolute bangers. I think game 1 already was 45 minutes long with a million drakes and several barons and an elder and like Zerance in the lead. Then they throw it away. Solari gets the lead. Then they take it back. Like it was a mess, but in the best way possible. And I hope we get more of this. Honestly, like it was awesome.
I mean, I was just checking it. First game was 48 minutes and 48 seconds. 48. Soul's 50 minutes. It was really long. I honestly expected 40 plus minutes for all games, but in then the fourth and the fifth were not that long. I don't know, Sheena, if you were able to check a little bit on what happened yesterday.
I mean, I'm a bit over it because I was screaming like the whole time, but I saw like I cut the last game and stuff, but it sounds like very settings coded through the series in that way.
I'm gonna ask you to elaborate on that. Why is it very Karen's coded?
Yeah, he's always throw somehow like they're always on the beat and then manage to throw like no matter what. Like
And what
no, that's my beat.
happens now? You have to elaborate. You cannot let it.
Like every game I have seen from them that is not playing against my team, they have a big lead and then throw the game. So I guess it makes sense to throw the series.
It's interesting because people were also like, it's also very Solari coded to not be there on time for the first 2 games and then come back and take it. Because we always talk about how Solari is like the scaling team and they want to scale within the game. Apparently, they also want to scale into a series. So I don't know. Like it was interesting to say the least.
I mean, I expected it. Like we have Clef on the first game playing Jinx, and I was like, yeah, Clef hyper scaling is coming, is coming. And I went Clef to hyper scale, and I was like, Clef, are you going to hyper scale? And the Jinx was good, but not enough. Definitely not. It was in the first game. It wasn't in the second game, and honestly, and I remember to talking about this with you, Sheena. I don't remember where we talked about this, but I remember you telling and you talking about how difficult it was going to be for some teams in the tournament to adapt to the best of five fearless draft mode. And I think it was Regis, the one in Twitter, who actually said that this was the first best of five game series played in a female tournament since 2 years ago or so, because it's always best of three. So I don't know if for you, Sheena, it was expected for the teams for both of the teams to struggle a little bit in best of five, because you said it. You were the ones, G2L, who had some experience to playing actually best of five in fearless mode.
Actually, last year there was a storm takeover, best of five at the start of the year. But so far this year, the only thing I've played at best of five is us because we played relegation to Leon Exo. Like we promoted 3-2 against Dream Makers. So we played best of five. It was not fearless. It was normal best of five. But yeah, like I didn't expect the teams to struggle massively. I expected some players to struggle through the games if they wouldn't ramp up. As we seen like game five draft. I don't know how Solari win this, but I will blame their seventh player for their builds, but I'm not gonna say further. But triple AP top side winning a game is kinda crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, now I have to ask again for she collaborates, okay? Because you cannot throw the stone and hide the hand. Like you cannot do this. I'm not allowing you to do that. But why? I mean, criticism for the draft on Solari's side, criticism to builds on Zervan's Bloom side. What is that you didn't like from Solari's draft? To start somewhere, it was Gragas Diana, Cassiopeia, and Tristan and Melio. What is it like in there? I mean, I love it.
Yeah. I guess you got lucky that you got a fight where Clef got lead, so she could like carry on that to win the game. Like you're having triple IP top side with double IP on face rotation, and then you're transferring like with Diana. You're transferring with a champion that wanna go in when you have a Cassiopeia and a Gragas. So it's kind of sorry, I was gonna say something, but um, it's not it, you know, like. And then when you go into the game and you see like not every player on the enemy team is building mercs. Not every player is like skipping items. I see a Sterax on an R instead of like I don't know which end or first of not. I don't care which item of a mare you go, but you have to go mare. And for will come for me, you have to skip the Trinity, just go Sundering into the Spirit. You could like get a Jaxo later and you're not gonna be killable. You're boosting every ultimatum to the Diana that is literally the worst unit of the game because it's useless as a pick. But there is a lot I could play. But yeah, they're putting Aurora on bot lane when MF wins the lane against Tristana, and then Aurora is fine in mid lane as well. You're putting her on bot, losing the lane for MF, losing the map control. Aurora is not included on plays. When you're playing Aurora Wukong, like I could keep going, but yeah, I need to same to
I realized that you could keep going. Indian OP with Sen, okay? The with Sen came at some point.
Better late than never, but I fear it was a little too late. I'm not gonna lie. Because OP as well, like for me, she was playing very aggressively, like almost all of the games, especially on her Camille, for example, is one of her comfort picks. She was like, I'm going to go in, and I don't care if you follow me, I'll just be in. And I feel like at some point, I was kind of like, okay, we're getting a little too excited. We're getting a little too ballsy about this. And sadly, that put them in a position where they got caught out every now and then. And also, Pivotless became an absolute raid boss in the 3 games that Solari managed to win. That Poppy game was completely nuts, and everyone was super surprised. But I'm like, well, that's Pivotless on Poppy. Like, what did you expect to happen? She's not gonna hide, right? Like,
Actually, we were finishing the meeting when that game was happening, like the fourth game, I think, the Jace game, Jace against Poppy. And when I saw OP dying first time, I said, she's gonna run it down because she's like the side. She's like 20-0, 0-20. So I knew that would happen. Like,
that's like partly a compliment because oh my god, like that's the player, but at the same time, it's like, oh,
It's good and bad. It has
For the 2020, not the shy 2018, the shy 2020. Those are two different the shies. Those are two very, very different the shy. And I honestly, when I saw Game 4 draft, I thought it was going to be 3-1. And I remember type chat is going to be 3-1 for Sound Bloom because I don't see how they're going to reach Vicky on Caitlyn. I saw you, Mile. You're not a Caitlyn fan. I am a Caitlyn stan, but I hate Caitlyn when it comes to competitive. Because
I was just
many teams throwing away games with
yeah.
it's
No, I think I'm a little marked by Caitlyn because I had to watch a Prime League final where it's game 5 and they pick Caitlyn and they are in a 8k gold deficit and somehow this Caitlyn on 3 items turns the entire game around and wins them the championship. Like I saw Caitlyn and I got immediately worried because I saw the worst Caitlyn angle to ever be in Prime League. So I was kind of like, oh my god, not this again. I cannot. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that they were able to play it out that way because um overall I felt like some of the drafts looked extremely wonky, especially for Solari as well. I felt like they were missing their usual character in some of these drafts. Like, who decided to put Clef on Mel? In like, huh? That's so out of character and so like I understand that she also wants to show maybe that she's very versatile because she is, but that was such a not hype clef pick for me. I was so disappointed and it didn't end up working out either, right? But I don't know. Some of those drafts had me question my knowledge a little bit.
I think, in my opinion, I don't know if you, Sheena, agree on this as well, because it got me back to the beginning of the year, where LEC teams and people from everywhere were adjusting themselves to operate in fearless draft mode, and it's wonky and it's odd and it's tricky to decipher how to do everything in fearless draft because not just because your players may have a wider or a more narrow champion pool, because you need to pick your pieces carefully because you're not gonna have them after that, and maybe you're lacking engage, and maybe you're lacking more ranged champions, and you cannot create a coherent composition. And I feel like this is something that is happening for the teams in changes. Like, okay, this is a best of 5 fearless. Most of the teams never played best of 5 fearless, and these include the staff of the teams, not just the players, the staff of the teams. They're not used to drafting fearless draft best of 5. I don't know how it's working on screens. Honestly, maybe in screens you have more experience, but you get to see these wonky compositions that got me back to, I don't know, February. Superliga February drafts were, oh my fucking god, what is going on in playoffs? What is this composition? And I got there, and yesterday I got there as well. And I don't know if Sheena, this is something that you expected, not only just because of the champion pools and also the staff trying to make up their minds in, okay, how are we working around this? And just because you got to game 5, you see the biggest part of it.
I think it has to be more with the pressure because, like, I think for example, the idea of serums with the Ace on the show is good. I think the Sinsa is fine. Maybe it's not enough. Maybe like Maoka is a better fit. But I think the Sinsa Ace so is fine. But then you run up the draft with a Caitlyn. You have 3 carries already, 2 strong sides on the side lanes that are on the opposite ways on the map. And then you're rounding up with a Yana. So your comp has no front lane, triple carry, 2 poke champs, and 90 carry that is immobile. So I don't even remember the Solari comp, but I think it's very easy to punish this. But if they actually like finish the draft with a Jin and as whatever is supportive for the other 2 picks, and just try to like sell the front lane or whatever that can make the game playable for them, I think the idea is great, but they didn't put everything together. And I think that's like it comes with the pressure. You have to pick something you are good on, but at the same time you don't want to be irrelevant. Sometimes you fall for the bait.
Solar Edition, just for the sake of people knowing, it was Poppy, Jax, Syndra, Vatson, Soraka. It was the Soraka. The Soraka was obnoxious, honestly.
Not a single way of engaging to double poke, and you just don't pick something to make them work. Happens.
Yeah, it was crazy. That Soraka pick saved so many plays, by the way. Like that Soraka ultimate was chef's kiss. Whenever it came, Poppy was I mean, Poppy is already pretty unkillable at some point, but that Poppy was unkillable. Like Pivotless was never in danger, ever. And I think, yeah, for me, it just shows that. I mean, it's something that showed as well in the ERLs when they started to implement the fearless system as well, right? It just shows that as a pro player now, you have to keep developing your champion pool because you don't want to be in a situation where you don't know what to pick. Because I feel like so far, Equal Esports Cup as well as Game Changers for many teams have been very comfort pick focused. The bans are always very focused on, oh, what is this person's OTP? What is this person's favorite champion? We've seen Wei being banned last night a billion times. We've seen Syndra being banned for a long time as well, just because, those are the two mid laners that love these picks, favorite these picks, right? And I think it makes sense because you don't want to give over this champion to someone who has 300 plus games on it. But at the same time, I feel like you, as the player who knows this is the comfort pick that is going to be banned, are in a situation where you have to develop yourself and have to keep, improving your champion pool. And I hope that that's going to happen eventually. It's, of course, the first time, and immediately going to 5 games again was crazy. But I'm very excited to see how other teams perform under that pressure because we have some very experienced players coming in, and then we also have some rookies on their side. And I have absolutely no idea what to expect from the next 2 days. I'm just here. I'm just going to wait and be surprised by whatever is going on.
There's a big difference between champion pool and competitive champion pool. I got to say.
Mm,
Because you could have like, I don't know, 100 game of Axan on solo queue, and you're gonna get on punish every game. You're gonna use a snowball, but then you try to scream with Axan, and you die 3 times in a row.
yeah.
And then you have to build around how to play it on comp, and it's very different. So I think for most of the players, it's like they don't scream enough to have the experience, and then the first try is like on unofficial, and then things are not gonna work.
Yeah. I think Akshan is actually such a good example because we have had a mid laner in Prime League, Phantasm, who's known for his Akshan. He's a solo queue merchant on Akshan. And they have always banned it out, right? And then I think it was Prime League Cup where it was left open. They picked it and it was an absolute disaster because it didn't fit into the comp. People also probably just punished him a little bit more because they knew this is his OTP. We have to make sure he cannot play the game, right? But it was a very visual example of what you just said. So I think it really comes down to the experience and the scrims and just having practice for the fearless system. And I think, at least from my feeling, I feel like G2, of course, are in a great position when it comes to scrims because you guys have the opportunity to scrim better teams as well and scrim with the fearless system. I feel like other teams of the equal esports scene have a harder time finding scrims that good because they just don't compete on the same level. I mean, if we're looking towards Prime League, we have a lot of teams that compete in the 4, the 3, and it's just not comparable to the overall level that you need to actually improve your fearless system. So I think that's an interesting factor as well because you guys, of course, had a massive year promoting to Liga Nexo, and I think that's just some experience that you guys have that others can't really match. So, I'm betting all my money on you. I'm just going to say it right now, but if I lose my apartment, that's on you guys.
I'm actually laughing a little bit because this topic of these creams, I discussed it with Shiina a couple of times, and she's been flaming hard. This, I mean, you can go on. We already had this conversation, Shiina, in other places. We're mostly in Spanish. We had this conversation, but let's say it mildly. To put it mildly, it's not being that easy, even for G2L, to get scrims with some teams.
I think we don't have like best screens as well. Gonna be honest. They don't look as good as you guys think, like our opponents. But it's also on us. I think my team has a problem when it comes to Scream. I don't know how to explain it, but the comms on Scream are wait, I need to find a word that's not offensive. They are not it.
Spanish, I can try to translate if you find it.
No, 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 because I know how to say in English is just offensive. So, um, yeah, the comms on screens are not it, and my team like then show ups to officials and it's completely different team. Like I think we could get like we could lose against teams that we have a stomp on on officials on screens. Like I don't know. It's like we are trying to solve it. We are like working on it, but it's been like consistently an issue, and it's not the same team on screens.
I mean, but this happens a lot of times. I mean, I can recall having this conversation with Superliga teams, with Superliga staff, like what is going on in the realm of the scrims. But because yeah, for me, after so many years, it feels like I don't know, like the Wonderland. Like what is happening in scrims? No, we are winning so much in scrims, but then you show up in officials and it's not it's not happening. I don't see the team that we're supposed to be invisible. I know I'm thinking about JNX in LEC in playoff, right? They wanted to have Fnatic because they were winning against Fnatic every single scrim, and then you just go 3-0 in like a scream realm, an official realm. For me, it's just two different things. I don't know, and maybe it's because what Shiina is talking about, like the way players communicate in script is so different. The mood maybe is so different. The way you tackle the draft on the games is so different. And when you are in the visuals, you have that extra pressure, of course, of now this is the serious thing. This is serious business happening. I cannot I cannot, I don't know, get this in a non-serious way. But moving on game changers, if you want, girls. Today 14th of October is happening Blue Water against SK Academy. Are you tense? Niller, SK is playing. Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it?
Look, as long as Kani is not co-streaming, they might actually have a chance at winning. So I don't know. Fingers crossed. No, no shade to Kani. Love the man. I honestly, I'm still a little worried for SK, right? Like we had Miela here, and of course, knowing Miela, we know that her goals are always very, very big. Like she wants to improve a lot. Like she's working very hard individually, and I'm sure the entirety of SK is working very hard. I fear for them because I felt like after week one of groups, they kind of fell off again in a similar way that we saw it in Equal Esports Cup. And that week one win obviously secured them playoffs, which is great. And I'm happy they made it. But I think Blue Otter is still so much of a wild card team. Like if they pop off, they pop off. And I mean, we will always and forever talk about Karina and Tifa, right? Like I'm not gonna go there because we all know, oh my god, there are some of the most well-known players in the scene, and Karina with her jungle carry plays. Okay, yeah, we've heard that one before. I know. No, I've said that. I've said that on literally every cast I've been on. So I'm just going to stop myself. But I definitely think it's going to be a challenge for SK, and they really need to bring their A game just because there is so much experience on the opposing team as well. I think top lane will be interesting, maybe with Emerin and Lizia. I think that could potentially be a little wilder, especially if Emerin decides to play a Riven. That would be fun. But I bet it's going to be banned. But I think my expectation would be for Blue Otter to have the upper hand, just because I feel like they have been more consistent overall.
Remember that you're gonna say it again this afternoon. Oh my god, Karina and Tifa most experienced. You're both were no players.
E tonight.
Now going to happen, you know that, right?
Yep.
But to be sure, just to be sure, you're gonna
Script is written right here.
Yep. But already it's on your mind, you know it by heart. And I am absolutely sure about that. But tomorrow, you, Sheena, are going to play against Eterna, and I'm really so freaking excited for that game. That's the upper matchup game. Do you have a you will seem to have a second opportunity, but I wanna know your thoughts on the Eterna game because I have the feeling that for a lot of people, Eterna was a surprise.
Hmm. I mean, my thoughts on Eternal are like very limited because I haven't seen them play a lot. Also, like their like info you can get for scouting is very low. Like they have like 3 players that ready to play, so it's very hard. But I have faced Delicate on the past. Um, I know Sassy well. She is playing the carry, so I don't know. But I think that teams is just like revolving around mid lane, and their support is good enough to play around mid lane. But I think if you shut down their mid lane, they barely have a chance because they will just like slowly lose, like because they won't have a like actual win on through the early game. I don't think like the other lanes are strong enough to like push the game.
Okay, this is something interesting. Because for me, talking about Eterna, and maybe correct me if I'm mistaken, because it's so nuts. This is a game, this is a team, sorry, that has 2 players competing from North America, which the big problems that we know that they have, and they are delivering, and 2 players that performed 3 times. That's insane. I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's like, yeah, Sashi, C. They're playing like the third role competitively.
Yo, I can't wait for that Cassandra bot. Cassandra bot is going to slap so hard, man. It's gonna be great.
I actually today I made to release an interview I had with Starry, and there is one part of that interview that stuck in my head, and was Starry saying, "Yeah, I don't know much about the European female scene, but the only top laner that I respected now plays on my team."
Love.
Mm.
Awesome.
And it's like, wow, that's a highlight. Are you going to use this for the highlight? So, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think that Zenith is going to teach Starry tomorrow?
And Say was already playing, no? Like in the past, like he played like one off tournament with an NL. That's it. Like they haven't played. So,
Zenith
maybe
is a
he doesn't
machine.
know.
Zenith is a machine. I have.
Like, I mean, if I don't get that Vayne top at some point in this tournament, I will be pissed. I'm just going to call it out right now.
I think it's hard because like this team, like you say, they have like a weird lane swap thing is like they could like put their top lane on top on bottom, their play the carry on top. I feel like it's hard to like. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. Sorry. Like it's hard to like throw off this kind of picks because like it's also lane swap meta. Like
Mm.
they could just like swap, and I think that's like the biggest bet to like make the game chaotic. Is swap.
Yeah, I mean, it's always it's funny for me. I also this is something that I've said plenty of times in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know. But people thought we were already getting rid of lane swaps or whatever. Now it was obvious they were got to come back at some point. And yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. You need to you need to be aware of those lane swaps. Also, the lane swaps that you were talking about that happens here in the female scene, and this is something I don't remember the last time in the male scene I got to see players lane swapping so much and re-rolling so much. Like, and this is crazy, and this is absolutely stunning when it comes to the female scene because it tells a lot about how versatile the players are. The players are how versatile, and it doesn't matter if they're playing top, mid, bot. It doesn't matter. Like they are actually delivering a level.
I loved how yesterday in chat someone said, "Oh my God, why are the girls picking so many fun champions? Why can't the guys do that?" And I'm like, yeah, our gameplay is fun. You should watch our gameplay because it's just like I feel like, of course, that's also a thing that happens when you're not in ERL1 or LEC, right? these pocket picks play a bigger role. That's just how it is. But at the same time, I feel like, yeah, you can see the creativity coming through, and especially a player like C, who has been swapping from top lane to mid lane to bot lane. Her champion pool is crazy, and there is a meta in which you can play Syndra as an APC, and there is a meta in which you can play Swain on bot lane. I'm not saying that meta is right now. I'm not going to get myself excited for that because it's probably not going to happen. Let's be real. But I think it makes the entire thing a lot more interesting, and it of course gives us a lot more talking points when it comes to showcasing these talents and talking about their journeys and what they've accomplished before and what they've done. And I'm just so happy that we get to share all that with people outside of the bubble now, because I feel like the female non-binary bubble was very guarded is the wrong word, but I think within it, people know each other very well. People know about each other's developments and champion pools very well. But now we get to share it with people of outside worlds that don't know what's going on, and they can be excited about it as well. And yeah, I feel like it showed a little bit yesterday with people just being surprised by how different the meta read kind of is in the female scene.
I mean, this is something that I learned the last year, the first time that I got to GAS Equal Esports Cup, and I stumbled upon Small Fate playing Tam Kenshin to Azir. And when it playing on the Tam Kenshin, I was like, oh my god, this is the funniest League of Legends that I got to see in so much time. And it was so freaking enjoyable. And yeah, definitely gives us more talking points to display the ability and to showcase, to highlight the ability of the players as well. And talking about how much you know each other, I remember Shiina talking with your mid laner, with Rim, and for a small interview for the group stage. And it was really funny because I just asked her about, would you create for me a small tier list on the mid laners? And then she was like, oh my god, I don't want to flame my friends. And yeah, the scene is so small that you know each other, you're friends. How are these dynamics happening right now in the tournament now with the game changers? How is this knowledge that you all got from each other team helping you and hearting you in the way that you are actually playing the games?
Content is content, game is game, friendship is friendship. If I have to blame my friends on top, I have to blame them on a content I will do.
G2 press kit. That answer is straight from the G2 press kit, and you cannot prove me wrong. Wow.
Uh, but I would. I mean, if you tell me that you have a script that G2 gave you script with those words, I would absolutely believe it. But no, I know the
This a document, but I never read it. It was for me like
poster for tomorrow, Millie. I'm preparing this photo with the words content is content, game is game, friendship is friendship.
you saw that I'm friends with most of the players I just play on the like Terrans and Solari random. So
Oh my god.
like with the small chat we had, like I mean, if I have like on screen, if my team is doing bad, I will not open pointing it out. And if like we had a heated argument, I don't mind staying later and saying sorry or like like it's, the game is the game, and whatever happens after is a different thing. It's like we are here to work, and then whatever is out, we can be the best friends in the world. And it's fine. Like that's what it was.
I get that from acting 100%, right? Like for me in acting, it's kind of the same thing. My best friend is an actor too, and I love him to pieces. He's like my brother. But when he gets a role, I'm really fucking jealous. And I'm always like, yeah, congratulations, you piece of shit. Because I want to have that role. What do you mean? And like we're like that's the same thing. Of course, we're like super happy for each other when we succeed, and we're always very supportive, and I'll always show up when he has a premiere, and he will always show up when I have a premiere or whatever. But there is also jealousy in that, and that is fine because we're all aware of it, because we're working in the same scene, we're working in the same branch where we always compare to each other, and it is a little bit of a race of who's the best. And that's why I can relate to that a lot. Um And at the same time, I feel like it was so beautiful yesterday to see all of the players coming out on Twitter and being like, hey, we would love for you to watch these games. Maybe we're not playing today, but please watch this product. Please, make sure that this is seen, because we all know the, publicity work, the marketing has not been the greatest. I have to be careful with what I say now, because I'm now officially working the product.
Okay, now for the sake of Mila's job, I'm going to top. I'm going to pick the argument from here so Mila can just separate from what I'm about to say. There was no publicity at all. There wasn't any publicity at all. Like, people was like, there is such a small quantity of people paying attention to these. For me, it was a lot of people considering how not n- non amount zero amount of publicity happened around Game Changers playoffs. Not even talking about group stage, because that's another conversation. And I recall casting EMEA losses the last weekend, and someone asked in LBB's chat about where will I be able to see Game Changers players, and I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, because there is no message around it. So the community needs to change that, and this is what we are trying to do that. So why Sheena's words are so important, because they bring a spark. You know, it it's kind of it's funny that you got to say, no, 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 we were just flaming, Solaris Academy draft and Zeran's bills, and this is a small talk. Do you know how much work it costs for a ERL player to spill a quarter part of the tea that you spill right now? It's so difficult. They do not want to. They say absolutely nothing. They say absolutely nothing. But for you, it's a small talk, and I kinda love it. And since it is a small talk, now I want to ask you this question, because uh, Galleon's Pro and Vitaito Racing Bees, both of these teams didn't make it to playoff stage. Um, which one for you was a bigger disappointment in these terms?
Vitality. I think Gallions has not. Like, Gallions was pretty much failed top four of the group no matter what. So either they make it or they don't, and if they make it, they lose on quarters or first round or whatever is the name. So it was okay. Like, it was okay from the year they are having. Like, of course, it's a disappointment, but didn't expect much better. But from Vitality, I expect them to at least qualify to playoffs.
And what do you think that it happened to Vitality? Because I expect them to qualify as well. It was a big disappointment, because it was a 0-3. And okay, we can discuss about the format, how single round robin sucks really, 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 really hard. But it was a 0-3. I think it was.
I mean, Vitality is a good team when it comes to playing the map. I don't think they're bad. I think that makes you sweet um to get like zones control, and they make you sweet with the waves. But I think okay. God, like, don't kill me. How the team is built is wrong. They have 3 weak siders and a supportive jungler.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Like, even if you are the best thing in the world, when it comes to like team fighting, or when it comes to where the hands matter, you're not gonna perform.
But this is something, it is really Vitality coded. But not just Vitality Rising Bees, Vitality as an organization. They have something in not knowing how to build teams. I think it's a curse. I think it's a curse. If or something like that, because how much money has Vitality as an organization spent in LEC rosters that were like, wow, this roster is gonna be seed one. Oh my god, they're going to smash the LEC, and then 8th place. Because it was plenty of, I don't know, carry players who don't know how to play a weak side, or the opposite thing. I think this is so Vitality coded, actually.
Yeah, I think it's also something we saw right with Vitality B now as well, because on paper they have a strong roster. Those are individually strong players, but they just couldn't put it together when it mattered. They came in as 4th seed, And then maybe we can talk about how the EMEA Masters format also is very rough. When you qualify first, you don't have any official games. You only scrim, and then you come back and have to play a best of 5. It's also rough, whatever. But everyone was convinced that if one team can beat Los Ratones, it has to be Vitality Rising Bees. Well, they got their ass beaten instead, and now they're out. So it does seem very Vitality coded. I also wonder though, because we've always talked about in EEC how Vitality is extremely coordinated. They are very good at playing classic front to back. That's their, their play style that they work with extremely well. But coming into Game Changers, I was wondering if that makes them easier to predict as well, right? Because that was what they have been doing. So if you're coming into a match day against Vitality, you're like, well, they will probably pick whatever front to back comp they can. How do we punish that? Right? And I think they just weren't able to take it up a notch or like adapt in the way necessary to make it work. And I completely agree. It was for me the biggest surprise of Game Changers, but not in a good way, sadly. Because I don't know, even if they didn't win EEC or made it further in finals in EEC, they still qualified for that playoffs bracket, right? And for them to not be able to do it here was a big shocker. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, the thing is that when it comes to grassroots, not just Game Changers or EEC, when it comes to ERLs as well, EMEA whatsoever, when you are an academy, there's an extra pressure. And that's what it's going to be. You have an extra pressure because the shirt is heavy. You are representing an organization that is supposed to give you more resources. Remember, supposed to. Nothing is that easy, but it's extra heavy, and there were expectations that were not fulfilled. We will see what happens around Vitality for the next year. First of all, we need to ensure that there is another game changes happening, which it is the first goal in here. I recall yesterday watching the games. I was in the chat standing. You all people talking about which player is more ready from the teams that are in the tournament or in playoffs? Which player feels like it's more ready to join ERLs? And I kind of felt it. I'm not gonna say insulting, but I felt like they were underestimating a lot because they were talking about which one individual is more ready than the others to step up into ERLs. And I feel like there are a lot of players who could perform in ERLs. Like the other day I was casting in EMEA Masters, and it was a team with one or two players in Master, not even Grandmaster. Some of them were even Diamond. So, Shiina, how do you feel that the level of the competition in the players right now is overall? How many players do you think that are ready or would be ready, like in the vacuum, with all the problems that we know that happens behind the curtains? But how many players do you think that would be ready to step up in ERLs, tier 1 ERLs?
I think it depends on the real. But also, like, Elo is not that huge nowadays. I'm not even like I had a surgery, so I decayed. I'm not even like probably not even top 5 on Elo. I could cap anyone from the competition. And that's fine. Like, it doesn't matter because like I didn't have the time. But like I think depends on the real, and probably whoever you throw into the Lions is gonna end probably on the first stages of it. Like the first matches are gonna be bad because that's how it works. Like you put like someone new to this scene on a team with no practice, it's also gonna happen. Like they are also gonna end. Like on our scene, I mean, it happens with anyone that you throw. Like you change suddenly from one tier to another. Like look at Camilo. He got a really really raw start, right? It's probably not even staying. So like I think whoever you throw is gonna have a hard time. But I think I I think from my team there is several individuals that cool like if you put the effort into them, they can like evolve into good players and they can perform. From other teams, It's harder to see because I don't work with them, of
Mm.
course. I have the feeling that Tres could perform if it was like I think it was like around players that are carry style, and it's just like linking them, then she could perform. From other top teams, we have Eterna. Think Virtuosa cool. I don't know her as much, and I haven't seen her that much to judge. That's the problem. But she looks fine, and she was also like previously playing or something like that. So I think she will look fine. And from other teams, I have no clue because it's really hard to judge when we don't work with people. Because it's very different.
Yeah. I quickly want to point out something because we were talking about Elo, and I remember them posting a graphic on social media. The comparison between I think it was Lilith and Vicky because they used to be teammates. So they were like, "Oh, let's look at this." Um, and for some reason they put Elo on that as a comparing point, and it immediately in my head sparked the thought of they would never put Elo as a comparison point when it was two men, and that pissed me off. Like, it made me so angry because I know this conversation from ERLs as well. I mean, every Prime League chat is always like, "Oh my god, this bronze fucking gameplay, blah 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 blah." Like, yappa 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 yappa. Come on. I mean, I want to see you play an official game. It's not gonna whatever. I'm not gonna get mad now, but people love to shit on other people by whatever elo reasons they have. Bet most of the people pointing that stuff out are not even close to being master. So it's like, whatever. But because you said it now, Sheena, as well, being like, I don't think elo matters so much. It doesn't. And I would love for it not to be representative in a graphic that compares to players in the female scene because we would never do it in other ERLs or in the LEC or something like that because no one gives a frick. So I don't know. That just pissed me off a little bit. I had to leave that here.
I think I think you're true, honestly. I mean, it pissed me off as well. When it's also the conversation, like I I kind of control myself not to type a lot of stuff because it's like I'm not gonna rant in here. It's not. I think it's a place like as I said. Nobody was asking about Elo 2 days ago at EMEA because it feels like granted. Like I have the perception that people have the perception that when we are talking about EMEA players, they are all challenger or something like that, like high challenge. No, it is not. It's not real. Elo is a social construct. I'm going to tell them. Elo is social construct. The thing is that I mean you're not asking Neil in any other place, and also we're not using me. I work in a broadcast every single day. I'm not using ELO as a parameter to compare nothing because if me solo queue is another realm. There's a two realm, a screamed realm, an official realm. Those are three complete separate things.
Imagine they would also like book us on elo reasons. Like, I would never cast a single game. I'm silver 4. Like, you would not get me on a broadcast.
At least I'm in world, okay? So just to wrap up, because we've been yapping before about 50 minutes. Sheena, I want to know, I want your thoughts on the upcoming games. I want your thoughts on the upcoming best of fives, your game against Eterna, and to wrap up the stuff. How do you feel about it, and who do you think that is going to take the games?
Can you repeat the question? I think it is
Tell me who's going to win today.
today. SK30.
SK30?
Yeah.
Why are we both shook? We are both like, what?
Okay.
If SK plays like they play, what I seen, they 3-0 Blue Waters.
Okay.
Wow.
Against Eterna.
I will quote you on that. I have to write that down right now.
I think Eternum, I have, like, it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. It's yours.
There's a lot of preparation around it. There's a lot of spicy stuff coming over. Maybe, yeah, like, I'm gonna say 3-1 because I expect a little bit of Indian content. So everyone for us.
But content is content and games are games.
No, with content game, we have to
Oh,
we have to clip the game, for
I see it. Like, would you prefer to do it at Atakan or at Baron? What's your call? Where do you want to
fun.
flip it?
I think it's easier at Atakan, no? Like if you wanna lose the game on Atakan, it's very easy to lose. So we can force it.
Awesome. Great.
I love it. You can quote her on that as tomorrow.
I will.
You will absolutely. So, it's been 50 minutes, like almost the first game against Solari Academy and Saran's Bloom. Yeah, it's kind of the same timing, almost timing. Thank you very much for this conversation. Thank you so much, you people that are watching Rift Cleans episode 2. Do you want to say something, Milo, to close up? You're better on this than me.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, you basically said it. Thanks to everyone for watching. Make sure to keep following this project. Make sure to keep following Game Changers. They're now on the LEC officials channel, but there's also a whole lot of co-streamers who deserve love and support. There is still a French stream on POC TV I saw, so definitely check that one out as well. And of course, make sure to follow Shiina, check out her journey because she's been smashing it. And we'll be back with another episode hopefully soon. And until then, we have some more games coming up. So definitely make sure to stay on track with whatever's happening in the Game Changers Rising tournament. That's it from us. See you next time. Goodbye.